Before the world wakes up, champions are already moving. Eric Thomas says it best. You don't need more time. You don't need more time. You need more discipline. Your morning is either making you or breaking you. Every sunrise gives you two choices: stay the same or step into the version of you that's hungry and unstoppable. If you want uncommon results, you need uncommon habits. Today, we're not starting the morning, we're attacking it. This is how you build a routine with Bifen de E-Bite versus discipline. When I talk about waking up with purpose and not emotion, I'm not saying it because it sounds good. I'm saying it because I lived the opposite for too long. There was a time in my life when every morning felt like a battle I was losing before the day even started. I didn't have a routine, I didn't have structure, and I definitely didn't have discipline. I woke up whenever my feelings told me to, and my feelings were lying to me every single day. They told me I was tired. They told me I didn't have to get up yet. They told me I could try again tomorrow. But tomorrow wasn't guaranteed, and my excuses were costing me opportunities I didn't even know existed. So I made a decision. I said, from this moment on, my purpose will wake me up, not my emotions. And let me be real with you, it wasn't easy. When you grow up without stability, when you're homeless, when you sleep in abandoned buildings, waking up with purpose doesn't come naturally. Survival comes netted. And survival mode teaches you to sleep till the last minute, drift through the day, hope things get better. But hope without discipline is a trap. It'll keep you dreaming while life keeps moving. I had to retrain my mind. I had to start telling myself, you don't rise because you feel good. You rise because you've got work to do. I stopped letting the bed win. I stopped letting my feelings decide the pace of my life. I stopped letting comfort control me. And the beautiful thing is, once you start waking up on purpose, your body follows your spirit. Your mind aligns with your mission. Your day feels different. The world feels different. You start to feel like you're in control of something for the first time. But that's what shifting the morning does. It shifts everything. When the alarm hits, it's not just a sound. It's a reminder of who you said you would become. Every morning is your chance to prove that you're serious. Every morning is your chance to prove that you're serious. Because discipline isn't built in the big moments. It's built when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when the sun isn't up yet and you still choose to get up anyway. Then wake up with purpose, not emotion. That's where transformation begins. And when I say you've got to win your first hour, I'm not talking about some cute motivational phrase. I'm talking about survival. I'm talking about the same mindset I had when I was sleeping on the floors and bouncing from house to house, trying to figure out who I was and where my life was going. Back then, my mornings were chaos. I woke up already behind, already stressed, already trying to catch up to a world that was sprinting while I was crawling. And because I started the day losing, I spent the whole day losing. I didn't understand yet that the way you start sets the tone for everything that follows. I learned the hard way that your first hour is your foundation. If that foundation is shaky, everything you build on top of it collapses. I remember waking up late, rushing out the door, no plan, no clarity, no peace. I was reacting to the day instead of commanding it. Every problem felt bigger because my mind wasn't settled. Every setback felt personal because I had no grounding. And every goal felt impossible because I didn't give myself the space to prepare mentally and spiritually. So I changed the way I approached my mornings. I started getting up earlier, not because I wanted to, but because I needed to. I needed silence. I needed time to think, to breathe, to set my expectations for the day. I needed a moment with myself before the world tried to take pieces of me. I started hydrating, praying, writing down what mattered, moving my body, feeding my mind, not because it looked good on Instagram, but because it was saving my sanity. It was giving me control in a time of my life where very little felt controllable. No, and let me tell you, the first hour transformed everything. When I won that hour, I walked into the day with momentum. I walked in with intention. I walked in already focused, already grounded, already ahead. Problems didn't hit the same because I had already built myself up before the world tried to tear me down. That's what winning your first hour does. It strengthens your mind before the noise begins. It sharpens your focus before distractions arrive. It gives you the power to dictate the day instead of letting the day dictate you. Ben, win your first hour and the rest of the day won't stand a chance against you. When I tell you to eliminate morning distractions, I'm not just giving advice. I'm telling you what I had to learn through pain, through mistakes, through seasons of my life where I kept losing because I kept letting the wrong things get my attention. Back when I was young, unfocused, and drifting, I didn't understand how dangerous distractions really were. I didn't realize how much of my potential was being stolen in small, quiet ways. It wasn't some big disaster that held me back. It was the little things, the phone, the noise, the people who weren't going anywhere, the thoughts that pulled me off track. I didn't know then that distractions don't just waste time. They drain your spirit. Bland. When you wake up already checking messages, scrolling, reacting, comparing, you're not starting your day. You're surrendering it. And I lived that life. I know what it feels like to wake up already behind because I let the world into my mind before I even let purpose in. I know what it feels like to start the morning tangled in things that didn't matter, only to reach the end of the day wondering why nothing changed. Man, there was a point when I had no stability, no real plan, no real direction. I was homeless, hurting, and angry. And even in that chaos, distractions found me. People inviting me to do something that wouldn't help my future. Conversations that pulled me backward. Environments that numbed my hunger. And because I didn't know how to guard my mornings, I didn't know how to guard my life. My attention was cheap, so my results were cheap. Man, it took growth, maturity, and a lot of failure for me to realize that if I didn't protect my mornings, I couldn't protect my mission. So I started stripping away everything that didn't serve me. No phone, no social media, no noise, no unnecessary conversations. I had to create space for clarity. I had to create silence so I could hear my own goals again. I had to be ruthless with anything that didn't push me. Closer to the version of myself I was trying to be. When you eliminate distractions in the morning, you're not just gaining time, you're gaining power. You're gaining focus, you're gaining control. You're telling the world, I decide what gets my attention today. And once you take that level of ownership, everything in your life starts moving differently. Man, cut the distractions and give your dreams the attention they deserve. Feeding your mind before the day begins isn't just a nice habit. For me, it was a lifeline. There was a time in my life when my mornings were empty. No vision, no guidance, no direction. I'd wake up and go straight into survival mode, reacting to whatever came my way. And when you grow up in an environment where chaos is normal, you don't realize how starved your mind is. I didn't know I needed something positive, something uplifting, something that would anchor me before the world tried to shake me. I didn't know that the first voice I listened to in the morning could be the difference between a day I controlled and a day that controlled me. When I was homeless, sleeping in abandoned buildings, waking up unsure of what the day would bring, my mind was my enemy. I was filled with anger, fear, confusion, thoughts that kept me stuck. And because I didn't feed my mind anything better, those thoughts became my reality. I didn't yet understand that your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant is what grows. And I was letting negativity plant itself in me every single morning. It wasn't until I made the decision to grow that I realized the power of what you let into your head first thing in the morning. I started reading books that challenged me. I started listening to messages that reminded me I could become more. I started studying people who came from nothing but refused to stay there. I began replacing doubt with discipline, fear with focus, confusion with clarity. And it didn't happen overnight. I had to rebuild my entire mindset, brick by brick, morning by morning. But something powerful started happening. The more I fed my mind, the hungrier I became for progress. I felt stronger. I felt lighter. I felt like I finally had a voice inside me pushing me forward instead of pulling me back. My circumstances didn't change immediately, but my perspective did. Yeah. And once your perspective shifts, your life follows. And your morning is the most vulnerable part of your day. Your mind is fresh, open, unguarded. That's why you have to pour something strong into it, something purposeful, something that reminds you who you are and what you're grinding for. Because if you don't feed your mind, your environment will. And not everything around you is meant to help you grow. Then feed your mind with greatness early, and greatness will follow you the rest of the day. Doing something hard at the start of your day isn't about proving anything to anybody else. It's about proving something to yourself. It's about sending a message to your mind that you are in control, that you call the shots, that you will not be ruled by comfort. And trust me, I didn't learn this because I was naturally disciplined. I learned it because life forced me to toughen up. When you've been through the kind of struggle I've been through, when you've gone nights without a bed, without food, without direction, you realize real quick that comfort is dangerous. Comfort is what kept me stuck. Comfort is what made me settle. Comfort is what whispered in my ear, just get through the day. When I should have been fighting to transform it, man, there was a time when the hardest part of my morning was just getting up. I wasn't doing anything challenging. I wasn't stretching myself. I was just surviving. And when you're only surviving, you never discover the strength inside you. It wasn't until I started forcing myself into uncomfortable situations that I realized how much power I had been leaving on the table. No, I remember waking up in the cold, taking showers that felt like punishment, walking to places because I didn't have transportation, pushing myself in ways I didn't enjoy. But every one of those moments built something in me. They built resilience. They built grit. They built a version of me that wouldn't fold when life applied pressure and deans. So I started making it a rule. Do something hard before the world can hit you with something harder. I'd hit the workout before my body was fully awake. I'd tackle the task I didn't want to do. I'd confront the problem I'd been avoiding. I'd push myself to feel a little discomfort so I could grow a lot of strength. And you know what happened? I stopped being afraid of challenges. I stopped backing down when things got tough. I stopped letting obstacles intimidate me. Because when you start your day with difficulty, everything else feels lighter. Doing something hard early builds your confidence. It builds your momentum. It builds a mental toughness that carries you through the rest of the day. The world can throw its punches, but you've already been tested. You've already shown yourself what you're capable of. You've already taken control. Then just start your morning with a challenge, and nothing in your day will feel impossible. Hey, a no excuses standard isn't something you adopt when life is easy. It's something you grab onto when life has pushed you so low that excuses become the only thing standing between who you are and who you could be. I didn't grow up with structure, discipline, or someone waking me up in the morning saying, come on, let's get after it. I had to teach myself that. And I only learned it because for years, I let excuses run my life. I told myself I didn't have resources. I didn't have support. I didn't have stability. I told myself my past was too broken, my environment too chaotic, my pain too heavy. And the truth? All those things were real, but none of them were going to save me. Man, there was a point where I realized excuses weren't protecting me. They were killing my potential. Every time I said I'll do it tomorrow, tomorrow looked exactly like yesterday. Every time I said I don't feel like it, my feelings became the prison I lived in. Every time I said I can't because became the reason I stayed stuck. When you're homeless, when you're hurting, when you're angry at the world, excuses feel justified. But justified excuses still lead to an unjustified life. So I drew a line. I said, from this moment on, my word is law. If I said I wake up early, I woke up early. If I said I work out, I worked out. If I said I show up, I showed up, tired, frustrated, unprepared, whatever, but present. Because once you stop allowing yourself to negotiate with weakness, everything inside you changes. You start trusting yourself again. You start believing in your own voice. You start seeing proof that you're not who you were. You're who you're becoming. Let me be real with you. Discipline saved my life, not talent, not luck, not a miracle. Discipline. The ability to say, no matter how I feel, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what happened yesterday, I will keep my word. That's the standard that took me from sleeping in abandoned buildings to standing in front of millions. Not because I was special, but because I stopped making excuses. When you set a no excuses standard, you become unstoppable. Oh,